Hey, good evening, everyone. So, welcome to yet another LinkedIn Live. And today we have a slightly difficult and serious topic, but I'm sure we have someone, Rashmi, who will make it very easy, playful, and she will put a lot of energy that I know. So, today we are going to talk about mind matters, mental health, and career growth. How do you balance that? See, all of us live very busy lives these days, and on one side we are glorifying the hustle culture, right? Like working 80 hours, 100 hours a week. And on other side, many of us are facing tremendous stress, burnout, or just getting overwhelmed by tasks at hand, managing family, managing career at the same time. On top of that, managing our hobbies or personal interests, it just becomes too much these days, right? And sometimes we get into situation where it reflects or it affects our health, it affects our relationships. So how do we deal with these daily pressures and stress in a better way? So we are going to learn some tips and some techniques from Rashmi, a behavioral coach and counseling practitioner. So thank you, Rashmi, for accepting my invitation and giving your valuable time today.
Thank you for this invite, and it's such a pleasure being back with Harshit. He is one of my clients, but a more close friend. So thank you so much for this opportunity to be up on this platform with you. Sharing this platform with you is quite a privilege. So yes, as Harshit
Great.
rightly said, the topic for today is burnout and stress. So yes, Harshit, over to you. Please shoot your
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah. So Rashmi, let me just first introduce you because people should know your background on this topic, right? As I said, it's a serious topic, and I'm sure. I mean, I know you have a lot of practical experience about it. So this is not going to be a theory session. You will share a lot of personal stories, and because you have been working as a behavioral coach and counseling practitioner, Rashmi has been awarded Outstanding Mentor Award because she has specialized in coaching adults through transition into balanced, healthy lifestyle. And more I know about Rashmi on this topic because she conducted an initiative during the pandemic. We are listening. Okay. And that pulled so much response. I know many people who contacted Rashmi who were, it was like really the buzz at that time. So I would like to know more about that as well, Rashmi, and what were your learnings during that thing. So Rashmi, the format is I have few questions ready, and I'll sort of throw those questions at you. Please feel free to share personal stories as well as stories of others. I mean, of course, without taking names, but people would like to get some practical insights from you and the audience. If you are watching us live, please hit that like button so that I'll know who is watching us. And you can definitely ask questions yourself. I will have ample time in the end to ask questions. I only have kept very few questions for me. I would like to encourage the audience to ask more questions. So Rashmi, the first question is: there are various surveys, okay, that I read on LinkedIn and otherwise, that 50-80% of employees have reported unmanageable amount of stress or frustration. Is it true? Is the problem we are dealing with so big? Tell us a like high level overview of the problem. And we are talking about professionals here, right? So is it that big a problem?
Sure. Thank you for this first question, in fact. And this is so close to my heart because we recently celebrated International Yoga Day. And me and my team, we were researching on India's health status, right? So we just asked the government to share some health data as to how many Indians are really, really healthy. They sent us a big 600 to 800 pages booklet, and they're like, aap dhoond lo isme se. So when we researched, we finally understood that the total population goes to 120 crore, of which only 25 to 30 crore Indians would be considered healthy. So this is the first shocking revelation. Only 25 to 30 crore healthy. Then the second question that the team asked is that what about the rest? If they're diseased, what about the rest?
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
which 5 to 6 crore of the diseased people were down with diabetes, the others were down with eye diseases, next gastro problems, lung disorders, and a major chunk with mental disorders. Now, the next
Hmm.
question that popped up was, how much is the government investing on India's health to make India a
Hmm.
strong, fit country? And you'll be amazed to know this, Harshit. It is 96,000 crore. Central government budget is 96,000 crore, whereas Maharashtra state government is state budget is 35,000 crore. That's the estimated budget. So we are investing so much on mental health and physical health of Indians. So this struck me big time. And every year, I was just trying to check, do we have so many doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists to look after
Hmm.
Indians?
Hmm.
Registered number of doctors in India is only 23 lakhs. That's it. So even if each doctor treats 50 odd patients, each psychologist go and checks 50 odd patients every day, still we cannot cover all those disease and all those people who are suffering from mental and physical disorders. So this is a vicious circle that India is going through. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
ultimate point is, if you understand the overview, if each and every Indian wants to serve the country, all the person has to do is look after his individual physical and mental health, and both are connected.
Yeah.
If your mental well-being is not looked after, you're going to have psychosomatic disorders in physical form, and vice versa. If you're a sugar patient, you will end up having stress. So it's all interconnected. I am not here to just promote mental well-being, but physical well-being simultaneously, right? So this is like a short overview, right, of where our India stands when it comes to health practices, right, or the health situation.
Okay, Rashmi, it was really shocking to me. Okay, I'm still trying to get my head around it. Like, this is so bad, the
Same here. It
situation.
took me 2 to 3 days to digest.
But Rashmi, I mean, we don't talk about this, right? Especially the mental health, right? And we are not talking about like diseases, or we are not only talking about people who need help, like patients, like dire help or immediate help. We are talking about like our normal scenario, but we are
Right.
still succumbing to those pressures, and inherently it is affecting our well-being, right? So I think during pandemic, this scenario must have aggravated. And you ran a campaign, we are listening. So tell us more. Actually, I will not
Sure.
tell the audience
Sure.
what it was. So tell us
See, when
what
I
was the campaign and what did you do, and what response did you get? What did you get to know from real people?
Sure. See, why I basically highlighted this survey, let me help you. When I say fitness, people think kuch bada disease, something really big has to happen. It all starts small. A small
Hmm.
little stress in office would result in a huge disorder tomorrow. We don't realize that. So when I say disease, we think, are sugar patient or a mental disorder
Hmm.
patient. No, no, no. It's a normal
Hmm.
stress that people take in office at workplace. And Indian
Hmm.
population, the maximum chunk is working population, let me tell you. So the reason of this LinkedIn Live is basically to create that awareness because we are the working lot that represents India. And if we are under stress, we are next coming in that list for sure.
Yeah.
So, when you spoke about We Are Listening campaign, this is a campaign that is very close to my heart. Since the COVID started, the news started flashing about mental health situations, people committing suicide, people facing a lot of stress because they had to work from home, the remote working
Hmm.
situations. So in a month or two, I had to dive into this. I felt pretty helpless just listening to the news. I thought of
Hmm.
working on it. I used to
Hmm.
get calls from people saying, "Ma'am, ye problem hai, this issue, that issue." So I thought, why not go social? No, why not go global with this? So on Instagram and LinkedIn, I started with We Are Listening campaign, where through a simple chat, people could just
Hmm.
mention their confusions and questions or their stress issues, and only through chat I would solve them.
Okay.
So this campaign was a great hit. It was a big success because in a span of 1.5 years, Harshad, you would be surprised to know we solved around 512 cases. 512
Wow.
cases, which included everything, right from relationship issues to fear of
Hmm.
COVID. We had workplace situations where people were not able to adjust their personal professional life. They had issues
Yes.
with their
Yes.
boss. Some of them lost their jobs, so they were clueless what to do. They were under stress. They thought the world is going to end. We are towards, walking towards Armageddon. So people had different panic and anxiety issues, right? People had issues about why COVID, what would happen with my family, right? So different issues they came up with, and they were all shared with me through a simple message, And I was fortunate enough to help them. And 512 cases was the total number at the end of 1.5 years of slot. So this was the We Are Listening campaign.
I mean,
Yeah.
some of those stories, if you could share about career or job loss or
Sure.
future of my job or salary, I was not getting salary, anything like this people faced, and how did you
There were
help them?
many. There were many. I had a person who was detected with BP, blood pressure.
Mm,
Suddenly, a very
mm,
young chap, hardly 30
mm,
years, and he shared the situation for the last 6 months. I'm suffering from high BP and cholesterol, and suddenly, he had no issues with diet, nothing. But suddenly, this BP thing came up, and he could not focus on his work, right?
mm,
After proper counseling and just joining with me on We Are Listening campaign, within a span
mm.
of, uh, in fact, 1.5 months, I just conducted 4 sessions with him, 1.5 months, and we checked his BP later. His reports were back to normal, directly back to
Wow.
normal. So another
Mm-hmm,
case, let me help you with this one. The next one that I can recollect was a person who lost his job, and
mm,
he entered into self harm, right? He tried suicidal attempts
mm,
and
mm,
was into self harming. This is a bit serious case, but then somebody referred We Are Listening campaign, and he connected with me, and in just two chats, 2 times he just chatted with me, and he got this point that I need to work this thing out. And today he's
mm,
successfully running a business from his home. He left his job, and today he's running his own business, right? There were students who contacted me. There were people who were stressed that they're working in India, but their family, I mean, they're working in Mumbai, and their family is somewhere else. So they were stressed about कि हम काम कैसे संभाले and family का क्या करें.
yeah.
There were situations where a lady was not able to balance her personal professional life because she was working
Mm,
from home.
mm,
She had kids around, she had a family around, she did not know what to do. There was growth in her error rate, productivity had
yeah.
reduced. She was about to lose her job,
Mm.
and she connected with
Wow.
me. So there are several such cases that jumped in during that time, and thankfully they're all doing great and they're still connected. So,
And Rashmi, as you said, like this doesn't have to be like you are a patient or it's a big problem, right? These are small things, right? Some
small,
stress, something, but it was, I guess, affecting the entire well-being, right? Or as you said, even the errors in office up to even BP, having diagnosed with BP. So my
understood.
next question could be, how do we not get into this? How can we be proactive? Because this, like our expectations from ourselves as well as family around us, our bosses, and just, I guess, sometimes ambitions always will be there, right? And we do not, I mean, we want to go forward, but how can we remain mentally fit on the other side? How can we balance the career growth and mental fitness?
All right. So I'll just try to keep this very simple for you. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
share a few small little techniques which I'm sure will help the audience to understand how we can
Okay.
heal ourselves mentally on our own. You need not go to a therapist, you not go to a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can heal
Mm-hmm.
your own self because you know your body better, you know your mind better. Okay, so number one technique, we need to understand the cycle of
Okay.
how things fall. Let me share an example and help you understand this. So let's
Mm-hmm.
take an example. An employee is fighting or arguing with his boss.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
Yeah.
think is the reason of this argument? Why is he arguing and fighting and is in a conflict with his boss?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What would lead to that? What do you think? It must be the feelings, right? So you see his behavior, that the
Yeah.
employee is being very rude, he's maybe being arrogant with the boss, but the reason behind that behavior is the feeling.
Mm.
He's feeling low,
Okay.
he's feeling depressed,
Mm.
he's feeling sad, he's angry, and that results in a behavior. Let's jump a
Sure.
bit back. Now, what is the reason behind those feelings? The
Sure.
reason of those
Mm.
feelings is thoughts.
Mm.
The thoughts that popped in his mind. For example, ये बॉस मुझे क्यों डांटते हैं,
Mm.
मेरी गलती क्यों निकालते हैं, why does he do that with me, why I'm the only victim, in this office? Why doesn't he care about me? As soon as these thoughts popped in his mind, that gave birth to feelings of sadness, depression, and that feeling got converted into behavior that we see: rude, arrogance, anger. Now, as a third person, I would start judging the person saying, Are kitna arrogant banda hai. He's so rude.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
fail to check the thoughts behind. The reason of that behavior is the thought, right?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
just change and tweak those thoughts, your behavior will ultimately change. So this is the
Mm-hmm.
first cycle that people need to understand. I have seen many people saying, "Arey, I am a short-tempered person." I've seen many students saying
Mm-hmm.
that my weakness is I'm short-tempered. I've seen
Mm.
professionals saying I'm a bit careless. I'm a behavioral coach, and trust me, let me tell you this with an open heart and very honestly, that behaviors can be changed. All you got to
Okay.
do is
Yeah.
understand the cycle. The cycle is it all starts from thoughts. So if you change your thoughts, your behavior would change. This is technique
Yeah.
number one. I'll give you another good example. During COVID, for the last 2.5 years, you must have seen two sections of people. One,
Yeah. Mm.
which those people who had very bad phase in their life for the last 2 years. They lost their
Yes.
jobs, they got depressed, they were isolated, right? They were very, very sad. And there was other section who were going
Mm.
good. They started their own business. They made good money. And these 2.5 years have been special for them. Now, the
Mm.
situation around the world is the same. But why do you find two sections of people with different
Yeah.
lives?
Yeah.
The point is thoughts.
Yeah. Mm.
The first section thought, God, everything is
It
coming to the end,
it's
coming to an end.
end of
It's
world.
all gone. It's finished. Yeah. End of the world. And that developed a feeling of anxiety. And that
Yeah.
anxiety resulted in an isolated behavior. They started feeling angry, irritated, right? Whereas the other section thought, अच्छा लॉकडाउन है, अच्छा कुछ नया है, let's try this out. It's a new opportunity for me. Job गया, no problem. Let's start our own business. As soon as they thought this, there was a feeling to explore. And with that
Yeah.
feeling to explore, their behavior also changed. So it all starts from the thoughts. It all begins from the thoughts. This is technique number one. So whenever you think you're feeling low, all you got to do is just check your thoughts, right? Technique number two. Technique
Yes.
number two is whenever you feel stressed, ask yourself a question. Am I focusing on the controllable or uncontrollable? Let me repeat.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Whenever you feel
Mm-hmm.
stressed, ask yourself a question. Am I focusing on the controllable or uncontrollable? Let me
Mm-hmm.
share a simple example. Especially office goers and professionals, they panic and they feel anxious about, अरे यार 15 मिनट के बाद मीटिंग है, क्या होगा मीटिंग में, what will happen, will I be able to crack the client, will I be able to
Mm-hmm.
impress the boss. Now, what are they getting stressed about? They're getting stressed about future,
Yeah. Yeah.
or they get stressed about कल मीटिंग में ऐसा हुआ, 2 months back this man said this to me, or my boss told me this yesterday, he shouted at me, right? So there are two things people are stressed about, either past or
Yes.
future. Let's ask
Yes.
ourselves this question: can I control past? The answer is no.
Mm.
Can I control future? The answer is no. So why
Mm.
worry about uncontrollables? Let's focus on the controllable, that is present moment. Let's learn to live in the present moment. In short, we call it being mindful. You
Mm-hmm.
got to be mindful. Many people tell me, Rashmi, should I do meditation to reduce stress? Right? Should I do pranayam? Nobody finds time for meditation. Very few people do. So I always say
Yes.
this: instead of doing meditation, be in meditation. And
Sure.
how can you
Mm-hmm.
be in meditation? By being mindful, by being in the present
Mm.
moment. Right? So this is the second technique. Whenever you feel stressed, just try to get back in the present moment, because you're unnecessarily thinking about the things that are out of your control. Right?
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
example to help you with is, I have seen many people getting stressed because they are bothered by others' behavior.
Sure.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get along with my teammates. I don't get along with my boss. I don't get along with this particular person, that person. That is what creates the stress for them. Ask
Yes.
yourself this question: can I control other person's behavior? The answer is no. You can only control yours. So as soon as you realize this, instead of reacting, you respond, and that makes things easy, right? So these are simple techniques that actually can be used to basically get rid of that undue stress, right?
Yeah. So it's control. So right now I have things which I can control, which is my behavior. What I can do about it? Can I act something? Can I do something which might result in better future? Right. So you can only think
100%.
about what you can do right now.
Controllable. And just ask yourself this question immediately: controllable or uncontrollable? As soon as you realize it's
Hmm.
out of control, you are at peace. And things out of your control, you got to accept them. And things which are in control, you work on them. Simple.
Sure.
I had a
Sure.
lot of cases where people were stressed because of someone's death. Very unfortunate
Hmm.
situations. Accidents take place. Now, these
Hmm.
situations are out of our control. All you can do is accept. Whereas work
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
controllables instead,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. So Rashmi, you're saying like, basically, if we can just identify or figure out our thoughts or classify our thoughts, in that moment only, I think our stress or overwhelming thoughts go down, right? We realize that we can see things
100%.
this way. Okay, this is controllable, this is uncontrollable. And do you think like
Right.
only classifying this itself sort of helps us in that moment
See,
also? Or maybe if you help me classify that
hmm,
way, is that what actually happens during your
you
chats or?
can't keep a you can't keep a check on each and every thought, Harshit. Right? You
Sure,
cannot.
sure.
There are millions of thoughts coming in every day.
Hmm.
All you got
Hmm.
to do is practice keeping your mind blank. That is why I mentioned
Okay.
that point. Be in the present moment. You are the
Okay.
happiest when you are in the present moment. When I train in companies, we have to train
Hmm.
employees for mindfulness. Because trust me, when they're working on an Excel sheet, their mind is bogged up with, "अरे मेरे घर पे क्या होता होगा? Yesterday's meeting.
Sure.
Yeah, after 30 minutes, I have a meeting lined up." They're continuously overthinking about something, not focusing on the Excel sheet, and that is the reason of increased error rate and reduced productivity.
Wow.
All you got to do is
Wow.
just
Yeah.
understand, right? Be mindful, be in that moment. You'll be very happy and you'll be slow at work, easy at work. You will automatically reduce the number of errors and you can do much
Errors. Yeah.
better at it, right? So,
Sure.
mindfulness is one technique and one skill set that I guess professionals need to upskill themselves in. Now, if you ask me a question like, how can we be mindful? It's very
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Just breathe 3 times. You'll be back in the present moment. This is the simplest
Hmm.
of technique that I generally suggest. Stop and breathe 3 times. But that's it. You need not do anything else, right? Because breathing will automatically get you back in the present.
So take a 10 seconds, 30 seconds
10
break.
seconds pause.
Breathe,
Yes.
breathe three times
Breathe
fully, and realize that I'm right now in office
in
working
this
on this
present
Excel
moment.
sheet. That's it.
Right.
Like I
Right.
cannot
See, even
control
when
what
it
is
comes,
happening with my family right now. I can only work on
no,
this Excel sheet. So let me
right.
focus on it.
Even when you're having your food at workplace, you will see people
Sure. Sure.
hogging and eating very fast, and
Yeah.
that is the
Yeah.
reason of increased obesity rate among employees.
Mm.
If you realize that, so we always suggest eating mindfully. When you're having your lunch, be mindful, right?
Oh.
And that will automatically take care of your health, your weight issues, everything.
Great, Rashmi. Thank you
Am
because
I audible,
you
Harshit?
you didn't. Yes, yes, of course. And you didn't scare us with a lot of complicated things, nor going to a psychologist or psychiatrist because we are afraid of that, right? But you told us like very very simple things. Whatever you're doing right now, focus on that. That's all, right? And sort of even keep your mind blank till that time. I think I think I've lost Rashmi. Rashmi,
Yeah,
hello.
yes, yes.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
yeah.
So,
Now can you
yes,
hear me?
perfect.
Sorry. So
Perfect,
the
perfect.
uncontrollable. Did you see that? If you panic because of internet and connectivity,
Oh
you
my
cannot
God.
enjoy
I mean,
LinkedIn
this
life
is,
for sure.
yes,
You
yes, I
get this? So
realized
many
that.
people panic for this, Harshit. right? Because they're like, "Arey,
Mm.
light chali gayi, power cut ho gaya, and if I lose connectivity, then what?" This is uncontrollable. You just can't help. Focus on the controllable instead and enjoy LinkedIn life.
Amazing. Great, great example. So we have questions from audience already. Okay, so I will start taking them one by one now, in that order of who asked first, really. So again, I don't know who you are, but LinkedIn user, if you realize you are not adding value to the organization, how do you deal with this stress? How should we talk to HR about this? So yeah, what could be your
Okay.
hmm
This one is an interesting question. See,
hmm
if you realize you're not adding value to the organization, how do you deal with this stress? Now, how do you determine that you are not adding value to the
yeah,
organization?
yeah.
How do you determine that you're not valuable, not worthless? This is a straight case of negative self-image,
Mm.
your self-talk. What you talk to yourself, your mind and body, both are listening. Remember. So make sure that you change your self-talk. It's crucial. Many a times we end up demotivating ourselves, underestimating ourselves. We start sharing negative, messages. Yeah, yeah, I am worthless, right? We are conditioning ourselves, and that is the reason of our stress. Do you mind if I share a small little story? Right?
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
a
please.
story of an ice factory. This is a story of an ice factory, and it's a real case that took place in 1986. Mr.
Okay.
Sharma, who was working in an ice factory as a supervisor for 35 long years, his job was supervision in the ice factory.
Yeah.
And one day, okay, he was just doing supervision. Sharp 5 o'clock in the evening, the hooter used to buzz. All the
Yes.
workers used to leave the factory, and the factory
Mm-hmm.
doors used to close,
Hmm.
right? And the temperature of the factory used to go to minus 20 for the ice to set. Now, one day
Yeah.
Mr. Sharma was in some dilemma, so he forgot. He didn't listen to the hooter, and he was right into the deep freeze compartment. Now, sharp at
Okay.
5:30, the doors closed. They were all locked, and workers didn't care because they thought Sharma ji to 35 saal se hai. He wouldn't forget the schedule, so
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
missed him there. But now Mr. Sharma, as soon as he realized, he came running out to save himself, but the doors were already closed. Now, Mr. Sharma was completely in a tiff. He tried moving chairs and throwing chairs, shouting. There was no mobile phone then. This is 1986
Yeah.
ka case.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
half an hour struggle, he said, "Ab to main marne wala, I'm going to die. I don't know what to
Okay.
do." And he started writing on the steel walls of the ice factory that I'm going to die. I miss my family. I don't want to die like this. Right? My hands are freezing. My legs are
Hmm.
freezing. I can't breathe. My nose is bleeding. I'm going to die. Dot dot dot. On the third dot, he died. He collapsed. The next day, when workers entered the factory, they saw him lying on the floor, took him to the hospital, but the doctors declared him dead 24 hours back,
Hmm.
somewhere around
Hmm.
6:30. But the real surprise of this case is that when post-mortem took place, reason of death was heart attack, and the reason was not due to freezing,
What?
because temperature उस
Hmm.
दिन -20 पे गया ही नहीं था. The watchman, the security guard, was absent that day, and the temperature was normal. So, what killed Mr. Sharma? This was a special case, a very big case that took place in 1986. And this was a real
Wow.
case of self talk. Many a times, what we talk to ourselves stresses us out, right? So, when you say that, how should I talk to the HR? I'm not adding value to the organization, it is your self image that is bothering. People are not
Yeah.
saying that, right? Only
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can love your model and go ahead with it, right? It's what you think about yourself that matters, right? I hope I've answered that. LinkedIn user.
Absolutely. And Rashmi, in my experience, many times they say that, I'm just a finance professional. I'm just this. I say, someone has been paying you for 15 years. Why are you saying just, right? Just
Just,
say that
yeah,
what you do for them, right? So sometimes it's just that, you are telling yourself that
right.
I'm just this, and you have
100%.
something
Your body
else.
and mind is listening for sure. Whatever you say, whatever. So just check your self talk. You will realize what's going wrong.
We have couple of compliments. So thank you, Aparna.
Thank you, Aparna.
Thank you, Binati.
Thank you,
This for
Sandeep.
you, Rashmi. You made it very relatable. Now we have a job search related question from Devika. During the pandemic, job search was exhausting for experienced professionals. Application getting rejected, high compensation or not market ready. How does one deal with that anxiety during a job search phase when things are not happening in your favor, the market is down, or probably your industry is down?
Right. So I have already answered this question, but let me now reiterate the point again. I told you, focus on the controllables rather than the uncontrollables.
Hmm.
Right? Many students, many professionals come and ask me, ma'am, interview के result अच्छा तो आएगा ना? Will I get selected? Will I get hired?
Hmm.
I ask them a simple question. Interview result आपके control में है क्या? Simple question. And the answer is no. If there's a psychopath like me sitting on the interviewers list or the forum, you're not getting hired. So instead of focusing on the uncontrollable, focus on the controllable. What's in your hand? Preparation, upskilling
Yeah.
yourself, right? Improving on your communication. That's all you got to do. And now, when you talk about the pandemic situation not being right, the market is not ready, the market is going down, depression is coming
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since since I was a kid, I have never heard the market being up. Have you, Harshit? कभी भी नहीं सुना कि अरे मार्केट
Yeah.
सही है चंगा चल रहा है never ever has it been said. The
Yeah.
market was always
Yeah.
down. When I was in my board exams, market down. When I was looking for
Yeah.
a job, market down. कभी market was never, no, never happening. But once we're talented, you'll always find a job. No matter there is Armageddon, there's pandemic, there's some COVID situation taking place, recession taking place, people with talent will find their way. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
focus on the
That's
controllable rather than the
mm,
uncontrollable.
uncontrollable. Now, since we are on this job search topic, I would like just to announce my next event. Okay, so if you are currently in the job search mode, you're a senior professional looking for the next best job. My next event is this Saturday, 7 p.m., where I do where do you Zoom webinar, live Zoom webinar for 1.5 hours, and I share a job search strategy in detail. And many professionals who have followed this strategy got the best job in next 3 to 6 months. All right, so you'll have to register. It's not on LinkedIn. Just register on harshadbhagwat.com/webinar, simplest link, and you will get an email and the Zoom meeting link for Saturday, 7 p.m., coming Saturday. Yeah, so going back to questions, for severe anxiety issues, what do you do as it gets when aggregated multifold, when question comes about managing work front, particularly in today's turbulent time of frequent disruptions? So I think anxiety is the thing, like getting overwhelmed.
Right. The cause of anxiety, remember, unless it is a mental disorder, okay, at a very normal level, I will tell you, mindfulness is the only solution to overcome any anxiety that you have, especially work
Okay.
related. I have seen professionals getting anxiety attacks because they have a client meeting after 20 minutes. They are anxious
Hmm.
about completing their to-do
Yeah.
list. Subah उठ के they will
Yes.
create a big to-do list and they panic and they're anxious about I'm going to tick all these things. I'm going to finish all of this. So continuously
Not
they're
possible.
thinking about I have 10 things to complete. I have 10 things to complete, rather than focusing on the one at hand. Right. That
Yeah.
is the main reason of panic. So I always suggest people don't create to-do list. Just focus on the work at hand and go with the flow. Right? Don't try
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
everything at a go. So that is one thing. Mindfulness really works. Try being in the present moment and go slow, Manish, is what I would suggest. Right? I
Hmm.
would be the only coach who would say go slow. Don't be fast. Being slow is the game in the current. What happens is every morning when people wake up, they are fast. They're running. They
Yeah.
have their
I
emails
have
to
to run.
check. They have this. I have to run. I have to do this. I have to do that. Error rate increases. Your heart rate increases. If I have to give a simple example, who are the longest living animals on this planet? The answer would be
So your
turtles,
tortoise. Yeah. Yeah.
whale,
Yeah.
right? They
Yeah.
all have a slow heartbeat and they're very
Okay.
slow. Elephant, whale, very, very slow species, slow animals. They have a very slow heartbeat, and that is the reason
Yes.
they tend to live long. So if you want to live
Wow.
long, just reduce
Wow.
your heartbeat by slowing down. You don't need to speed up things. The best way to speed up is to slow down. is my suggestion. So every day when I wake up, I tend to slow down. I do everything very slow and I see everything in slow motion. So there is attention to detail. I
Hmm.
have less error rate. I enjoy the work as well, and I don't panic, and everything falls in place. You know what basically creates stress for professionals is looking or checking their watch, going by
Yeah,
the tick
yeah,
of the clock.
constantly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Stop checking your watch. Stop keeping a tab of time, is what I would suggest. Time is
Wow.
relative. Einstein said this,
Hmm.
if
Yes,
you're sitting in a
yes,
boring lecture, it feels like you're sitting for 1 hour, even if it's 15 minutes.
yes,
And if you're sharing the bench
absolutely.
with your girlfriend in a park, it feels, अरे 15 तो minute हुए. Even if you're sharing, you're
Yes,
being with her for 1.5 hours. Time is a
yes.
relative concept. So don't worry about
Yeah,
time.
so
Don't
true.
check the watch. Right? Go slow. Enjoy every minute. What's the use of hurrying if you're not
Yeah,
going to enjoy that job? Right? We have stopped living. We're just existing. That's the problem with professionals. Right? So just enjoy whatever you do and go slow. Go very, very slow. When you speak, speak slow. When you write, write slow. When you're working on the laptop, go slow and enjoy it. Trust me, this will take away most of your stress.
wow.
Right?
So Rashmi, this particular thing is for me. Okay, go slow. So I'm going to, this seriously. I mean, I
Don't be a
hope it
hustler. Don't be a
answered.
hustler.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because see,
Hmm.
yoga,
Hmm.
why people feel good after doing yoga? Because yoga is
Hmm.
slow. It goes with breathing.
Yeah.
Breathing makes you mindful, and the motions that you do in yoga are slow. They never fast. That's the difference
Yeah.
between gymming and yoga.
Hmm.
Why
Hmm.
yoga is considered as the most powerful form of exercise or workout because it makes you mindful and also
It
teaches
slows
you
you
to
down.
slows you down, and you live long because your heart rate is reduced. I'm personally
Wow.
a yoga trainer, so हमारा
Yeah.
BP and heartbeat is checked before we do any asana, and then again it is checked. If there's a slight increase, we fail in exams. That is how strict it is. So
Wow.
just take this point and take this to the note. If you want to live long, go slow. That's the best thing
Wow.
to do.
Wow. Wow. And I think this partly answers Manish's next question, probably how to practice mindfulness while multitasking work. So probably no, right? Don't multitask, right? I
No,
think that's you
multitasking is
cannot
a
be
big,
mindful.
big waste of time. Big waste of time. Trust me. You finish the work in hand and go next. There's no
Just focus
point
on one task,
multitasking.
finish,
One
go
task
to
at a
next.
time. Yeah, yeah. Keep it simple. See, less is more is the formula. Remember, less is more. Avoid
If you
multitasking.
feel the other task is more important, leave this one and focus on that. Whatever is more
You can
important for
always
you
make a
at that
choice.
time.
You
Yeah.
can always make a choice. Prioritize, right? But don't multitask between two things. Right? So stress is mainly created because we have too many things at hand, right?
Too
I
many
also
things to
promote a
do.
lot
Yeah.
of minimalism, and when it comes to
Yeah.
minimalism, it's not just
Hmm.
about minimalizing on your clothes as a working professional.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
minimalize your things around when you're maintaining a workspace at home, and also
Yes.
minimalizing the task. Only focus on
Yes.
three MITs, most
Three
important tasks.
important
That's
tasks.
it.
Yeah.
Instead of making a
Hmm.
big to-do list, no, just three things you do. That's it. And use the 80-20 rule for this. There are
Hmm.
20% tasks that will give you 80% result,
Results. Yes.
and the other 80% tasks will only keep you busy. They are going to give you
Hmm.
20% result. So कौन से task करोगे? Those 20% that give you 80% result. Just focus on them.
Wow.
They are going to be only handful three. Focus on those three and you're sorted for the day. So if you ask me my
Yes.
schedule, I only work from 10 to 4. But I end up
Okay.
making the
Okay.
same amount of money. I end up getting the same productivity I used to get when I used to
Yeah.
work 12 long hours.
12 hours.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
people are just fanatic
Yeah.
about being busy, Harshit. That's the problem. So
Yeah.
work
Yeah. Yeah.
less.
We glorify. I'm one of them. Is to glorify
Never do
hustle
that.
culture
Never do
actually.
that. If you
Mm-hmm.
call me, if anytime you ask me, I'll always say I'm never busy. Right? Because I
Yeah.
reduce
Yeah.
my
That's
tasks.
true.
I only have three tasks at hand. That's it.
Mm.
That's it. What's the use of being busy if I end up making the same money later?
Yeah.
So keep things
Wow.
simple.
Wow. And Shreya now is asking is how can we initiate a talk about anxiety and stress one feels with another person, knowing the fact that not all people would understand it. So I think it's interpersonal issue she's pointing to.
Right. So if I get this question right, Shreya, you're asking that how do I tell the other person that I get stressed, I get anxious because of your behavior? Okay. If I'm not wrong, that is the question. I would suggest instead of letting them know, let yourself know that you are in your control. You cannot control the other person's behavior. Other person's behavior should not make you anxious anytime. Whenever it makes you
Okay.
anxious, just throw a question at yourself. Can I control other person's behavior? The answer is no.
Mm.
So automatically your expectations fall and you just focus on your own self, your own responses. See, since we have been kids, have our parents managed to control us? Could they change our behavior? No. So nobody can change anybody else. Nobody can control anyone else. It's just you controlling yourself. So many people come and say that Rashmi, this person's behavior makes me anxious. This person's behavior gives me a lot of stress. It's wrong. It's you who's stressing out. You cannot control the other person. Is what you got to tell yourself first, right? So
So, Rashmi, can I control what I would say to that person, or
100%,
how I would behave that person, which might change his behavior or in that particular response, right? Suppose
100%, 100.
I want to get the work done from my team, but like team, I cannot choose my team. It's been given by the organization, so I cannot control their performance nor their
Performance,
behavior, but I
emotion.
can
You can
control
only
how I'm dealing with them, how I'm
right.
giving them instructions, how I'm reducing or increasing or
Perfect. A
allocating their
leader
work.
for that matter. A leader for that matter
Mm-hmm.
who is trying to, barge at his team members ki target achieve karo. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
getting stressed ki my team is not achieving targets, you focus on how are you giving instructions and are you achieving your targets first? Are you
Yeah.
performing to the mark? Automatically you will realize the gap. Right? Another thing is like when it comes to interpersonal relationships in family also, a daughter-in-law and mother-in-law relationship for that matter, thoda sa workplace se
Yeah.
bahar, but
Yeah.
this is an important thing
Understand.
where the daughter-in-law is commenting and telling him my mother-in-law is bad, she behaves like that, she does this and
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Instead of doing that,
Yes.
if she just smiles and focuses on her own behavior, with time the mother-in-law's behavior is going to change. So try the same technique with your boss, try the same technique with your colleague or with any other professional. It works both ways, personal, professional, everywhere. Right?
Wow.
Even in
Yeah.
parenting, we
Mm-hmm.
tend to, judge kids. We tend to try change them. You can't change your kids.
Yes.
It's you who has to change. They will automatically follow and imitate you. Right?
They might change you, but you cannot. I mean, so.
You can't change them for sure.
Wow. And hopefully, or probably the last question, Rashmi, is share tips to practice emotional detachment at the work. I really like this question. Um,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
Hmm.
Emotional detachment. First thing is, I'll tell you, emotional. When do we get attached emotionally at work? When we think that we are doing everything. I'm going to be a bit spiritual here, a bit philosophical
Okay.
here, but I'm sure you will connect. People get emotionally connected with their work when they think they are doing everything. It's to their credit.
Okay.
This is what
It's
creates
like I'm
emotional attachment.
responsible. I'm the
I
only
am
person who is
responsible. हाँ,
responsible.
मैंने
And
किया
if
है.
I
हम.
fail, it
I am
it will fail. If
responsible.
I succeed, it will succeed.
Yes.
Hmm.
So I am responsible for the failure. I am responsible for everything, blah, blah, blah. So you're taking everything on your shoulders. That is when there is emotional attachment at workplace, which again creates an emotional turmoil, let me tell you. The best
Yeah.
way to be emotionally detached is to surrender in life. Remember, surrender to a fate point. This is the biggest lesson I have learned. Whatever I do, I know I'm not doing it. It's my faith point. Now, my faith point is Buddha. You can see a small little poster on the wall right behind me. That's my faith point. I like Buddha because he is the biggest scientist that the world has ever got. So I have made him my personal assistant. I say that भाई जो भी करना है काम बुद्धा आप करेंगे. I am not doing anything. I don't have all the talent. You are the one planning my entire day. I just float in the water. I don't do anything. I surrender. So when I am putting the ball
Wow.
in his court and I surrender, I don't panic because I know Buddha will do everything great. He is the one responsible.
Wow.
So it's like keeping a
Hmm.
personal assistant. I surrender totally. So I'm not attached to my work. I'm not emotionally attached to my work. If it happens good, I'm like, thank you, Buddha. And if something really bad happens, I'm like, bad kidhar hai? Buddha planned that. So no matter good or bad, I always have a smile on my face because I'm not doing it. It's Buddha who's doing it. So Buddha is just an example. You all will have some other faith point. The faith point can be a spiritual book, it can be it
Yeah.
can be an idol, it can be nature, anything. But learn to surrender. In the current scenario, people have stopped praying. People have stopped
Hmm.
having faith. Trust me,
Yeah.
all businessmen, if you observe, they all have a faith point. right from Ambani to Tata, you'll always find them having faith points. They have a lot of faith in God. And with time, we have forgotten this point to surrender. They surrender, that is the reason why they are cool. They have a multi-million dollar business, they have a huge empire that they're responsible for. But you will never find them much into stress because they know everything he's going to look after. Right? So
Yeah.
make universe your faith point, make a book your faith point, anybody whom you just surrender to and get detached
Wow.
from your work. Right? So I hope
Wow,
I've answered
Rashmi. I
that
mean,
for you.
wow. I mean, this was just wow because I mean, I guess it sort of circle backs to everything we discussed today. Actually, the last point you just made, you know, controllable, uncontrollable, focusing on your thoughts, focusing on present moment, and if you are like really getting swamped, have a faith point where and that is, I guess, the highest point of all this, right? Like you
Yes.
really, if you can really
You
reach
find
that
it
stage.
spiritual, but it is the real truth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, and just a small little tip right at the end, focus on each day as it comes. This is what I've been doing for the
Okay,
last 10 years. Trust me. Every morning when I
okay.
wake up, I just no pray. It sounds very easy and simple. I mean, silly, but
Mm-hmm.
it is very easy. I just pray that आज का दिन सही होने वाला है, बहुत मजा आने वाला है. Trust me, this is the
Yeah,
segment that we
yeah.
make in Hindi. आज का दिन मजा आने वाला है. And as soon as I say that, I have done an affirmation in my mind that आज का दिन अच्छा ही जाएगा. No matter what
Wow.
happens, I'm always happy. I am happy without any condition. People have conditioned their happiness. If I get a job,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be happy. If I get the girl I want, I'll be happy. If I get a promotion, I'll be happy. If I get the car of my choice, I'll be happy. Stop conditioning your happiness. Just like babies, they're unconditional. They don't have anything, but still they're happy. But as we grow into adults, we start conditioning our happiness. This
Yeah.
is a big problem. So let's stop
Wow.
conditioning our happiness and be happy without a reason. And when I go off to sleep, I just say thank you God that I had a wonderful day, and I make
Yeah.
a big list of gratitude, all the things that happened, good,
Mm-hmm.
nice, whatever. So when I say thank you, I get more of it the next day, right? So these are two things that
Yeah.
I follow as a working professional. I start my
Wow.
day good and I end my day well.
My
If
day
you
good.
just focus
Okay.
on each day, automatically your week is going to be good. And if your week turns good, your months are going to be good. If your months are good, your years are going to be good. People plan too much. They plan about five
Mm-hmm.
years and they don't focus on the day that is right in
Mm-hmm.
front. I would rather focus on the day in hand. That's it. I don't know if I'm going to live tomorrow. So why worry about tomorrow? Just enjoy the day in hand, is what I would say.
Guys, this
Right?
was just wow. Okay, Rashmi. I mean, those of you who are listening live, if you really like this, give your best wishes to Rashmi, because what started as just a simple question that how can I deal with my work pressure better, really, Rashmi took it to very high level where high level, but it's so simple yet, right? Just spend each day, like start in the best possible way, end it in the best possible way, right? Like with the gratitude at the end, starting as a simple three goals for today. Just be very simple, right? That's what I guess Rashmi today's take. And you cannot plan everything. You are just and these people
You
are
cannot.
actually writing it for us. Faith, surrender, really great tool. Shreya is saying this is the mantra. Thank you so much, Rashmi. Thank you so much. So we have finished all our questions as well as my questions. And Rashmi, I'll tell you, I'm going to watch this video again. I'll tell you that because there are three things
I'll
I
take it as a
really
compliment.
found that absolutely, as I told you, go slow, end the day with gratitude, and just focus on right now. I think I still have to sort of make sure that I've understood to the point of application, right? So thank you so much, Rashmi. Those
Thank
of you
you.
who are watching this, please follow Rashmi because she posts a story every week, right, Rashmi? I think, and
Yes.
it's generally from your personal experience or like mini stories you told today. So amazing. I really have no words, Rashmi. Thank you so much for really
Thank you,
taking
Harshit.
it to the
Thank you,
highest
everyone.
point this session. Thank you. And bye
Thank you.
bye. Good night, everyone. Good night.
Bye bye. Good night.